The Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's oldest heroic epic. The epic Gilgamesh tells the story of the fifth king of the Uruk dynasty, now Uruk. His reign dates back to 2500 BC, in Mesopotamian mythology. Legend has it that Gilgamesh, also known as Bilgames in Sumerian history, was a demigod with two-thirds divine blood, so he was stronger than humans. He was the one who built the Great Uruk Wall to prevent enemy invasion. As a great king of a powerful dynasty, Gilgamesh became arrogant because of his power. For the young women of Uruk, he demands the right to the first night, or lord's right, to sleep with the bride on their wedding night. As for the young men, it is conjectured that Gilgamesh subjected them to exhausting competitions or forced labor on construction projects. And that clearly displeased the people, who turned to the gods for help. The gods answered the prayer by creating a man of equal strength to Gilgamesh from mud and clay in order to defeat Gilgamesh. It was a wild man, Enkidu, covered with fur and living in the forest with animals. A hunter discovered that Enkidu always helped animals escape traps, making it impossible for him to hunt anything, so he asked the sun god Shamash to send Shamhat, a prostitute, temple priestess, to tame him. Enkidu. After 6 days and 7 nights, or 2 weeks, according to recent scholars, of loving and teaching Enkidu the civilized way of life, she takes Enkidu to the shepherd's camp to learn how to be human. Meanwhile, Gilgamesh dreams that he is about to have a new close companion, so he asks his mother, the goddess Ninsun, to help interpret these dreams. Shamhat took Enkidu to the sheepfold, where he was instructed in human eating and became a night watchman. After learning from a passerby about Gilgamesh's treatment of his new brides, Enkidu became angry and traveled to Uruk to stop Gilgamesh. When Gilgamesh tried to enter the bridal chamber, Enkidu blocked his path and they fought. After a fierce battle, they were almost evenly matched, until Enkidu acknowledged Gilgamesh's superior strength and they became close friends out of admiration for each other's talent. Gilgamesh proposes a journey to the cedar forest to kill the demigod monster Humbaba in order to become famous. Despite warnings from Enkidu and the elders, Gilgamesh was not afraid at all. The elders give Gilgamesh advice for his upcoming journey. Gilgamesh visits his mother, the goddess Ninsun, and asks her to seek the support and protection of the sun god Shamash for their adventure. Ninsun adopted Enkidu as his son, and Gilgamesh left instructions for ruling Uruk in his absence. Then Gilgamesh and Enkidu ventured to the cedar forest in the Cedar Mountains to destroy the demon god Humbaba, who had the ability to create storms. Every few days, they set up a tent on a mountain, and perform a dream ritual. Gilgamesh has 5 terrifying dreams of collapsing mountains, thunderstorms, wild bulls, and a fire-breathing thunderbird. Although there are similarities between the dream figures and earlier descriptions of Humbaba, Enkidu interprets these dreams as good omens, denying that these terrifying images represent the guardian of the forest. As they approached the cedar mountain, they heard Humbaba roaring, and encouraged each other not to tremble. Humbaba, the guardian of the cedar forest, insulted and threatened them. He calls Enkidu a traitor to nature, and vows to cut Gilgamesh's stomach open and feed it to the birds. Gilgamesh is afraid, but encouraged by Enkidu, he begins the battle. The mountains rumbled and shook and the sky turned black. The sun god sent 13 winds to bind Humbaba and blind the devil, he was captured. Humbaba begs for his life, causing Gilgamesh to relent. He invited Gilgamesh to be lord of the forest, promising to cut down trees for him and be his slave. However, Enkidu believes that Gilgamesh should kill Humbaba to preserve his ancient reputation. Humbaba cursed them both and Gilgamesh beheaded him, along with his 7 sons. The two heroes cut down many cedar trees, including a giant tree stump that Enkidu intended to use as a gate for the temple of Enlil. They built a raft and sailed back along the Euphrates River with the giant tree and, possibly, Humbaba's head. Gilgamesh fell into the green eye of the goddess. But he rejected her love because she was known to be cruel to her previous lovers, like Dumuzid, making Ishtar very angry. Ishtar asked his father, the god Anu, to send the celestial ox Gugulana down to punish Gilgamesh. When Anu did not agree, Ishtar threatened to raise the dead, overwhelm the living, and devour them. Anu got scared and gave in. Ishtar led Gugulana to Uruk and devastated everything. It drank up the water of the Euphrates River, drying up the swamps. It dug giant holes that swallowed 300 men. Do not resort to any divine assistance. Enkidu and Gilgamesh attack the bull. Enkidu tears the sacred bull's flesh to protect the friend he loves, offers its heart to Shamas and has the audacity to throw the cow's leg in Ishtar's face. She was very angry, inciting the gods Anu, Ea and Shamash to dream for Enkidu that either he or Gilgamesh would be punished by death while the city of Uruk celebrated its victory. Enkidu, with the nobility of a friend, accepted death so that Gilgamesh could live. In Enkidu's dream, the gods decreed that one of the two heroes must die for killing Humbaba and Gugulana. Despite Shamash's protests, Enkidu was sentenced to death. Enkidu cursed the giant gate he had built for the temple of Enlil. He also cursed the hunter and Shamhat for separating him from nature. Shamash reminds Enkidu of how Shamhat fed him, clothed him, and led him to Gilgamesh. Shamash told him that Gilgamesh would give him the greatest honors at his funeral, and would wander alone in the wild world, nursing the pain of losing his close friend. Enkidu became remorseful about his curses and blessed Shamhat. However, in his second dream, he found himself imprisoned in the underworld by a terrifying god of death. The underworld is a place full of dust and darkness. Its inhabitants eat clay and wear feathers, and are watched over by terrifying creatures. Over the course of 12 days, Enkidu's condition became increasingly worse. He lamented that he did not die like a hero in the middle of a battle, then breathed his last. Gilgamesh held Enkidu's body for days, denying that he was dead, until he saw a maggot fall from the corpse's nose. Gilgamesh read a eulogy for Enkidu, and called upon the mountains, forests, fields, rivers, lakes, animals, and all of Uruk to mourn for his friend. Remembering their adventures together, Gilgamesh shed tears that drenched his hair and clothes. He built a large statue, and took from his treasury the most precious treasures to bury Enkidu. A great feast was held to offer treasures to the underworld gods. The next section of the broken clay tablet, one presumes, speaks of a dammed river, alluding to water burial, as in the corresponding Sumerian poem, The Death of Gilgamesh. Saddened by the death of his close friend, Gilgamesh became depressed and did not want to return to the throne. He wandered everywhere, hoping to find a hermit named Unapishtim to ask about the meaning of life and death as well as how to become immortal. Unapishtim is like Noah in Catholic mythology. Survived a great flood caused by the gods. When he met Unapishtim, the hermit gave Gilgamesh a challenge. If he could stay awake for 7 days without sleep, all his questions would be answered. Although Gilgamesh failed the challenge, on the 6th day Gilgamesh fell asleep, and Unapishtim told his wife to bake a loaf of bread for every day he slept, as proof of his failure to stay awake. Gilgamesh, who is seeking to overcome death, cannot even conquer sleep. After Urshanabi the ferryman bathed Gilgamesh and dressed him in royal robes, they departed for Uruk. As they left, Unapishtim's wife told her husband to give her a parting gift. Unapishtim told Gilgamesh that at the bottom of the sea there was a plant that could make him young again. Gilgamesh tied stones to his feet so he could walk on the bottom of the sea, and pick the magic tree. Gilgamesh thought he should take the plant back to Uruk to test whether this plant was truly a miracle drug, by testing it on an old man. Gilgamesh intended to bring this plant back so his people could live forever, but along the way, a snake stole the precious plant. Perhaps thanks to that, today's snakes have the ability to molt themselves, replacing their old skin with new skin. It is said that Gilgamesh returned, although he did not have any treasures or secrets about immortality, but during his journey he also learned a lot of other knowledge. Gilgamesh continued to rule and further develop the kingdom of Uruk. Legend has it that Gilgamesh's reign lasted 126 years. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.